HOA burned down my cabin. They had no idea I'm a federal judge who just got assigned their case. The air was thick with the acrid stench of charred wood as I stood before the smoldering ruins of my cabin. My sanctuary, hidden deep in the Tennessee hills, was gone. The hand-hewn logs, the stone fireplace where I'd spent countless nights wrestling with case files reduced to ash. The Karen Hills Homeowners Association had done this. Their petty vendettas over my non-compliant roof color and untrimmed hedges had escalated into arson. They didn't know who I was. Federal Judge Eleanor Voss, newly assigned to their own lawsuit against the county. The irony was almost poetic. I'd moved here for peace, a refuge from the courtroom's relentless grind. The HOA, led by Marla Kendrick and her sycophant, Greg Tate, saw my quiet retreat as a challenge to their iron grip on the community. Marla, with her pinched smile and clipboard, had hounded me for months. "Your cabin's an eyesore, Ms. Voss," she'd sneered at the last meeting. Greg, ever her shadow, had nodded like a puppet, his eyes glinting with something darker. I'd ignored them, thinking their bark was worse than their bite. I was wrong. The fire wasn't an accident. A neighbor, old Mr. Callahan, saw Greg's truck idling near my property the night the flames took hold. "Smelled like gasoline," he'd muttered, his voice trembling. I reported it to the sheriff, who shrugged it off. Marla's brother-in-law, of course. But the HOA's lawsuit against the county for mismanaging fire response funds? That landed on my desk. They'd filed it to deflect blame, claiming the county's negligence caused preventable property damage. My cabin was listed as collateral damage in their filings. The audacity burned hotter than the fire itself. I confronted Marla and Greg at the community center, my composure a thin veneer. Marla's face paled when I revealed my title. "Judge Voss?" she stammered, her clipboard clattering to the floor. Greg's smug grin faltered, his hands twitching. "You torched my home," I said, my voice low but steel-sharp. "And now I'm presiding over your case." The room fell silent, neighbors shifting uncomfortably. Marla recovered, her eyes narrowing. "You can't prove anything," she hissed. Greg, though, looked ready to bolt. Then came the twist. Callahan's grandson, Tim, a lanky kid I'd barely noticed, stepped forward. He'd been tinkering with trail cameras for a school project. One had caught Greg dousing my cabin's porch with gasoline, his face clear as day under the moonlight. Tim's voice shook as he handed me the footage on a USB drive. "I couldn't stay quiet," he said. The crowd gasped, turning on Greg. Marla's face crumpled, her alliance fracturing. Tim's courage shifted the tide, exposing the HOA's rot. In court, I recused myself to avoid bias, but the evidence was damning. Greg confessed, implicating Marla, who'd orchestrated the arson to send a message. The HOA's lawsuit collapsed, their hypocrisy laid bare. But justice felt hollow. My cabin, my refuge, was gone. I stood on its ashes one last time, Tim at my side. "You did the right thing," I told him. He nodded, eyes older than his years. Marla and Greg faced prison, but the community's wounds ran deeper. Trust shattered. Neighbors pitted against neighbors. The case exposed the HOA's reign of terror, but at what cost? I'd lost my haven, and the community lost its illusion of harmony. Marla's desperation to control, Greg's blind loyalty, and the sheriff's complicity painted a grim portrait of power unchecked. Yet Tim's bravery offered a flicker of hope, a reminder that truth could still pierce the darkest lies. I rebuilt my cabin, simpler this time, but the scars lingered. The hills felt less safe, the air heavier with distrust. What would you do if your community turned against you? Share your thoughts on justice, loyalty, or the cost of standing up to power.